what you thought you knew from the shed of dreams, the Leake in review.
How are you, Alan? It's been a minute.
I am okay. Everything is under control.
You've been very busy still with the CFNY documentary, The Spirit of Radio. And to that, I would say, what a great thing that is.
Well, thank you. I can tell you that last Friday we had the premiere of the extended mix, which is which is more or less the original version with some extra stuff thrown in. It runs about 90 minutes.
Right, because you had to cut to time for TV.
Yes, we had to cut that one to time. And I'm really, really pleased with this other one. We have some theatrical screenings around the Greater Toronto area, and one in Vancouver. And hopefully we'll be able to get this out to a wider audience. There is a DVD and a Blu-ray coming, so stand by for that.
Well, this is great news, and I'm sure if I've received 10 mentions or 10 comments, requests saying there has to be more of the Spirit of Radio CFNY documentary, you must be in the hundreds, if not thousands, of requests.
Oh yes,
looking for it, and that's awesome. It's very powerful stuff. So good on you for doing that, because not a lot of documentaries get any traction.
No,
let alone what you guys are doing.
Let alone about Canadian radio stations. There is one on CKLW, the Big Eight, but I can't think of any other Canadian radio station with a comprehensive documentary.
Good on you guys. And there's a speaking tour that's going on as well. Why don't you just start dropping some of those dates and engagements if you want?
Yeah, the dates and engagements are done for the time being, because I did a lot and I need a bit of an opportunity to recharge. But we are doing these screenings, and those screenings come with me and a bunch of other people speaking on the subject of the movie, and a few other things. There's some private ones coming up, but that doesn't help anybody. And then I've been enlisted by, and this is our segue, I have been enlisted by the CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to help with an event that they're holding for their biggest donors in Toronto at the end of May. And I'll know more about that next week.
Well, we better be careful on what we say.
We should.
In this conversation on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, the nominations.
Yes.
That have just been released. We did this last year where we went over the nominations and we kind of picked on who we thought was a good candidate to make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I would say, I listened to the program earlier and I should have brought out the calculator, but we were about 80% correct.
I think we were. We did okay last year, and I think we have an opportunity to do even better this year, because I'm looking at the nominees list, and I'm not displeased with it, to be honest. There are two people on the list that I don't really necessarily get. There's a few marginal ones, but for the most part, I'm okay with this list.
Now, with this list, I think there's 15 nominees that are on the list that was just
17.
17. Generally, 6 or 7 will make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame each year.
Yeah, so the 6 or 7 will make it as full-fledged inductees. And then there will be others who are given, I can't think of any other way to describe it other than special participation trophies. The hall realizes that they deserve recognition, but that based on the makeup of the voting blocks, they will never make it on sheer voting, right? So that's fine. Judas Priest got in that way. They were at least acknowledged by if not being a full-fledged inductee. So
that's kind of like the NHL Hall of Fame, where you could be the top goal scorer in the league, but then there's somebody who contributed somewhere along the line. Maybe they built a hockey arena somewhere, but they get mentioned in the builders category.
In the builders category. Now, there are 3 of those type categories as well. So we're going to see names, and you don't vote on those. They're just named. they're brought in. But then you have, like I say, you have these other ones, and the hockey analogy is good because maybe what will happen is here a guy was a grinder, right?
Sure.
And he played 22 seasons, never scored more than 9 goals a year, but he was always on the ice for penalty killing and for when you needed to put another guy on the other team in his place. That's not necessarily the greatest player of all time, but a huge contributor to the game. So that person may get in. I can't think of any examples, but we're just riffing off your analogy.
Corey Perry.
There you go.
I'll tell you a great story about Corey Perry one day when we were backstage at a festival, and I made a great reference about I wish bands spoke when they came off stage like they were hockey players that just came off the ice.
Yeah.
And his wife laughed so hard, and Corey just gave me a glare. He was just like not into
Yeah.
it. I might as well just do it right now. It was like, yeah, it was a good set. We hit the notes where we needed to, and that fans seem to be into it and that. But it's a long tour. We've got a long ways to go, and you never know. We still don't got the Grammy wrapped up yet. And he just glared at me, and I thought,
Oh, that would be perfect.
you just know that you hit somebody with the right comment. They're mad. Wife is super happy. Anyways, let's go. Here are the nominees for the 2026 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Black Crowes, Jeff Buckley, Mariah Carey, Phil Collins, Melissa Etheridge, Lauryn Hill, Billy Idol, INXS, Iron Maiden, I think for their 20th time. Joy Division, New Order, New Edition, Oasis, Pink, Sade, Shakira, Luther Vandross, and Wu-Tang Clan. A number of these are first-time nominees, including Wu-Tang Clan, Luther Vandross, New Edition, Lauryn Hill, Melissa Etheridge, and INXS as well.
Oh,
plus Jeff Buckley.
Phil Collins.
Okay, that one, when I saw that come up, that was one of the surprise ones that I saw this year that I thought, how is this one?
Well, I just assumed he was already in.
Genesis alone.
Yes. This is the first time somebody has nominated Phil Collins, considering his work with Genesis and his solo work in the 1980s. Like, what are you talking about?
He has made or written more number ones outside of Genesis, yet still being thought of as the Genesis guy.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is pretty crazy. I did see him on his, I guess what would be his final tour. That came through.
Sitting on the stool?
He was sitting on the stool, and because I've just known him to be kind of a joker, I thought he was playing a joke. I didn't know that was the state of his physical being. I thought he was just making it up.
And you got to wonder, is that why he was nominated?
Well, okay.
I mean, he deserves to be nominated on the merits of his music. We'll just, make that very clear. But, I mean, did that somehow spur the voters to maybe this time? No, I don't know.
Well, add to that, we made a comment last year about bands that were not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that were surprising, some of which that are on this list. You brought up Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
I think because of what happened last year with Jane's Addiction, where they got into the fight on stage, were suing each other, saying all kinds of crazy things out in the public. I think there is no chance that they will ever get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now.
I think you are right. Now, Perry Farrell may at one point get in as a builder.
Lollapalooza alone.
Exactly. But as for the band itself getting in, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Let's go through this list. The Black Crowes, they missed out again last year.
Yeah, they're a repeat nominee. I'm okay with that. I mean, they were one of the great blues rock bands of the 1980s.
90s, still are.
Still in the 90s. They broke up for a while, but they're back together. And yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Jeff Buckley, first time nominee to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Which I find interesting. He only had the one album, but that one album has taken on a life of its own. It's legendary. I mean, there's a documentary coming out any time now about Jeff, and he has been bigger in death than he ever was in life.
Revered.
So I'm wondering if this is a trial balloon. I don't think he'll get in, but I think it's nice that he was mentioned.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah, Do we
Didn't
have to
write
talk
any of
about
her
this?
music. Wonderful voice.
Oh, I'm no question. Rock and roll, no. But I mean, they've expanded the criteria for somebody who can get in. The selection criteria includes an artist's impact on music culture, influence on other musicians that have followed, as well as the scope and longevity of their career and body of work. Okay, if we follow those rules, then maybe, but I'm not seeing it as a rock and roll kind of thing.
More definite number ones, maybe, than everybody else on this list.
Yeah, and there's that damn Christmas song on its own.
Most played Christmas song, I believe, ever. It's
Well,
got to be
yeah,
getting
I mean,
close,
a modern Christmas song for sure.
and probably makes her more money today than the rest of the catalog combined.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know that in the 6 week period that song is hot, from November to the end of December, she makes between 50 and $20 million a year.
Yeah, number one on all the
Yeah,
on the holiday chart for 6 weeks straight,
and
and Billboard sales and everything.
everything. Number one on some of the top 40 charts too. So it's she's a monster. But again, depends on how tolerant you are of the definition of rock and roll.
Well, let me just bring up this. I think that the problem that everyone should consider when they're naming anything, if it has legacy, you might run into a problem with what you named your event, your company, your
Yes.
stage, and so on, because there's an evolution in language, there's an evolution in culture, there's an evolution in music. I'll give you an example. The Ottawa Blues Festival.
Yes.
Is there a blues artist that plays the Ottawa Blues Festival over the 11-day series that goes on in Ottawa, Ontario? But you've had Nickelback, you've had Pink, you've had Iron Maiden, and
You've
on and
got
on and on.
Limp Bizkit this year.
You got to consider that as
You
well.
do. I mean, when they designed the hall, I hate to say this, I'm softening on this. When they designed the hall, it was supposed to be straight rock and roll,
Sure.
right? But over the years, you're right, definitions change, tolerances change. People evaluate what happened in the past differently today than they did back in 1986. So it's inevitable that there's going to be an expansion of this sort of thing. And the longer the Rock Hall stays around, the more powerful it is to be nominated for something. So you've got a lot of people working the phones, trying to twist arms and say, hey, I want this artist and my artist in the hall. And maybe it gets through. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, I don't know anything about the voting procedure, but you'd think there's only 1,200 people doing the voting. So you got to think that there's a lot of politics that go on. So and agendas. It is what it is. This isn't exactly a federal election.
Well, it's funny though too, because we talk about the evolution of language and words and culture and stuff. I'm sure over the years they've made lots of adjustments as to how voting is weighted as well.
Hmm.
Let's continue on through this list. So we're saying no to Mariah Carey. Phil Collins, I'm a yes.
Yeah.
Melissa Etheridge, first time nominee.
Yeah. I don't have much of a problem with that.
Culturally did a lot.
Yes. I mean, she was a gay woman in a rock and roll world. She was pro pot and did a lot of advocacy in that area. And there's other areas that she's been an activist. So yes,
Lauryn Hill.
sure. I don't think she'll get in. I think she'll be in the bottom half of the voting. But again, it's good to see her recognized.
Lauryn Hill.
Mixed emotions about that. She's not a very cuddly person. She is very difficult to deal with as a performer. So
Can't show up on time.
yeah,
Very bossy.
yeah,
With everybody, including her spouse.
and her old bandmates.
I have a good friend by the name of Steve Major who he was in the studio with her.
Hmm.
He's the nicest man on earth. He does not like her. So as a result of this, and he doesn't have that word coming out for anybody,
Yeah.
but he had such a horrible experience. I'm going to say she can't get in this time. And it's all because of my friend Steve.
Okay.
Billy Idol. We both were humming and hawing about this one last year. Cultural impact. He was so big, and we both agreed it was MTV related.
Yes, it was. Now, Billy Idol has survived. He has a documentary coming out very shortly called Billy Idol Should Be Dead.
Motorcycle
And
accidents alone
oh, no kidding. And then the drugs and everything else that happened with him.
still looks great.
Uh, I he's I've come around on this one, and I think Billy Idol, because he has, if we look at the longevity thing, impact on music culture, yeah, I will. I'll say one more time. Let's give him a shot, and maybe he will make it.
New edition, first time nominee. I'm thinking there's
I
got to
think
be someone better in the that
that,
could
me
is
too.
far
Fine.
outpacing new edition.
Yeah, I think they're going to be at the bottom of the list.
Oasis over
They'll try
last year's
again.
tour alone. the,
Well, see, now this is another thing.
the
Things
money
have changed, right? So last time they were nominated, it was like, oh, these yobs from England. That was the vibe that I got back. But now it's like, well, wait a second. They sold out 41 stadiums and
could have done
around,
100.
hmm?
Could have done 100.
And they're going to. They're not touring this year, but they're already planning 2027. Uh, you can't underestimate the popularity of Oasis. So if you want a populist thing, one that sticks a finger in the eye of the critics, yes, I would say yes for Oasis, but I'm not convinced that a block of voters, which is largely American, will vote them in.
I was just gonna say, is being British, does it help? Does it hurt them?
No, it does. It does not. Well, it doesn't help them. I don't think it helps them.
Pink, first time nominee. And we should mention too, with the nominations, you have to be an artist who has had their first release out 25 years ago.
Yeah, I had forgotten that Pink had been around that long. I think she'll be in the bottom half of the voting.
Sade.
Love Sade. Again, stretches the definition of rock and roll.
Shakira, I'm going to come right out and say no.
No, me too. For the reasons we've mentioned in a few other cases.
And doesn't have the same voice that Pink or Mariah has. Has a unique voice, which is something to
Yeah.
be said, but not the power of
No.
of the other of both Pink and Mariah. And Pink's voice is probably stronger today than it was 25 years ago.
I think so. Shakira, though, does have them hits.
You're not lying. Luther Vandross, first time. Is this one stretching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for you?
I think it is just a bit because he's, more of he's a soul guy. So if you want to be pedantic about it and say that, soul went into the creation of modern rock and roll back in the day, okay. I mean, you got to have James Brown in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is, funk and a bit of soul. Uh, Maybe, but I think again in the bottom half of the voting.
You would rather see Wu-Tang Clan than Luther Vandross.
I would. Wu-Tang Clan, if you want to talk about cultural impact, you can't really do a lot better than the Woos. Not at
And
all.
with a big chunk of the band going out and having very successful solo careers,
Yes.
I think that's telling of the impact that Wu-Tang had, because they wouldn't be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to have a bunch of the band go out and do solo if the original band itself together wasn't great.
Right. Now Rizzo is the guy that drives everything. He's the biggest of the solo artists, but it's an interesting dynamic within that group, and you can't diss you can't diss the clan. You just can't.
I did hear of a time though when Wu-Tang Clan was going across the border for a show in Vancouver, and the promoter sent over a clean bus saying, "Everybody, you get on this bus. It's seats only. There's no bunks. You can bring your ID. That is all you are bringing. We are going to get you into the show, and we are going to take you back across the border this evening. No ifs, ands, or buts, because
Yes,
taking your bus across seems a little risky at this
it
hour."
does, especially if you've sold tens of thousands of tickets. Yes.
Not a country artist.
You know what? You're right. There are no country artists on here.
I would argue with the amount of artists that are called fringe to some for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we're missing a lot of country artists, especially these legacy artists that started in the 80s and the 90s that could easily be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Is Garth Brooks in the hall?
He should be.
He should. I agree.
Have you seen him play?
I mean, he's a pretty rock and roll country guy.
Your official answer for an artist who has sold probably over 100 million albums.
Second only to the Beatles.
He's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That is a problem. That is a big problem. Let's
Alan
just go
Cruz.
through a few more here. INXS, yes. Jesus. Again, that was another one where it's like, they're not in?
And still being played.
Yes.
They would be, they're touring, by the way, if they went on tour tomorrow, Michael Hutchence, INXS, that's another stadium tour as big as Oasis, maybe even bigger.
100%, but Michael Hutchence sadly remains stubbornly dead.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. If he were around, and if he were around and you had promoters with buckets of money, they would be one door that they'd be knocking on.
Bigger than Oasis. Joy Division, I know you're a definite yes on this.
Yes, Joy Division, New Order, yes. Please, please, please. But again, I don't think they're going to do it. That's unfortunate.
So we both agree. The Black Crowes, Phil Collins, Billy Idol, INXS, Iron Maiden, Joy Division, Oasis, maybe Pink, maybe Wu-Tang Clan. That is who we would maybe vote for. Maybe. To be inducted.
Iron Maiden.
Oh, I thought I said that. Iron Maiden, yes.
Yeah,
I think, you know what? Quickly, Iron Maiden to me, I think they're hurting themselves by continuing to tour as much as they are. They have not stopped being on the road. I think the only thing that slowed them down was COVID.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
if you want to talk about, cultural significance and influence in other musicians, I mean, you look at that. I mean, if you want to rank those, I would say Joy Division and New Order is number 1. Number 2 would be Iron Maiden, and we could fight about that.
And most amount probably out of everybody here who has the original members.
Yeah,
in the lineup.
100%.
Alan Cross, a journal of musical things and podcasts all over the place. How's the crime podcast?
It's going very well. We're doing about 100,000 downloads a month.
Murdering it.
Yep.
Thanks for doing this. We'll check in with you real soon.
Okay, you bet.
Now forget everything that you thought you knew from the shed of dreams.